The racist bill of the day is Georgia Senate Bill 63 by Senator Randy Robertson. Let's put a picture of the racist bill maker up. This proposed law has so many layers of discrimination threaded into it. But in this video, we're going to focus on the part of this proposed law that basically recriminalizes possession of a misdemeanor amount of marijuana of less than an ounce. You heard me, less than an ounce, which is something that can fit in a cigar. This charge was being prosecuted at a much lower rate these last few years, with people hoping that marijuana would finally be legalized. But this bill that they are trying to pass and make law, because that's what happens, if a bill is passed, it becomes law, would make misdemeanor possession of marijuana charge something that someone would have to put up a cash or property bond to be released on, instead of currently being able to be released on a signature bond through the judge. This 2023 tough on crime legislation is nothing but the Republican response to Georgia turning blue with the high turnout of black voters at the past elections. Now, the Republican Georgia governor, Brian Kemp, is basically, if we look in totality at what's going on, people, is creating a rebirth of the entire Jim Crow era, where discriminatory laws were created to suppress black people, with tough on crime bills that target the arrest and incarceration of statistically way more black people than white people, affecting our right to vote, which we've already seen through the other laws that they have passed and signed, affecting our right in education and housing, income, and family stability that affects generations to come. His white supremacist voters, his white supremacist bill-writing Congress people who are in the position to create and pass these bills that become law, are doing just that right now with several bills. But the one that we're talking about again today, Senate Bill 63. At this present time of March 2023, before March 29th, because March 29th is when all of these bills have to be decided on by the end of this term, people would have to put up a bond through cash or property through a certified bonding company to get out. The certified bonding company part, if you find that interesting, is a target to dismantle and do away with the bail projects that have been bailing people out of jail in different places, including Georgia, who cannot afford it, who have certain charges, most of them being low-level misdemeanors or low-level felonies, or mostly all misdemeanors most of the time. The amount of black people who would be stuck in jail for a piece of substance that is legal in 21 states under this new proposed law is absolutely unfathomable. And if you are wondering why they have to be black, let me give you some statistics about black people and marijuana when it comes to law enforcement. Per the ACLU, according to a national report published in 2013 called The War on Marijuana in Black and White, which detailed the marijuana possessions of arrest, and then a subsequent report that was published that detailed arrests between 2010 and 2018 related to marijuana possessions. A black person is 3.64 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than a white person, even though black and white people use marijuana at similar rates. In 10 states, blacks were more than 5 times more likely to be arrested. And they note that these disturbing facts of this research show that despite several states having reformed marijuana policy over the last decade, far too much has remained unchanged when it comes to racial disparities in arrest and, quite frankly, racial profiling and targeting in arrest when it comes to marijuana. Let's be clear. These racist bill writers don't hate marijuana because these same people just approved on January 26, 2023, the sale of medical marijuana in Georgia. So marijuana is okay when it's something they can tax and make money off of because medical marijuana is an almost $33 billion business right now. But then say in the same breath that people deserve to sit and possibly rot in jail because they have an amount that they can fit into a cigar or less than that on them. No worries. We get it. Marijuana is okay when they can profit from it, but we are also aware that they see marijuana as a source of power per its clear history to be used as a weapon of suppression of Black people, their rights, and their liberty. The taking away of those rights are initiated through law enforcement into incarceration, or as one author so perfectly put it, slavery by another name. What can you do is what a lot of people ask after this information is relayed. Blow up the phone of the legislative officials you voted into office. Write them letters and tell them how you disagree with what they're doing, and let them know that you see what they're doing. Share what they are doing with your friends and on your platforms. Protest outside of their buildings. Show up and vote in a way that brings fear of losing the seat that they no longer fit, because those seats are for people who are seeking justice. Vote in a way that makes them fearful of never being able to sit in those seats again. Stay woke.